There are some really good All-Star Team Affinity cards for free, and I'm not going to list them in particular order from number 1 to number 10, but I am going to go over what I think are the best ones, and I think all of these will be worth trying to prioritize grinding for if you don't have some of these All-Star vouchers yet for some of these players from their teams. Once all of the cards from all of the content drops from the All-Star break drop, I will put together another video where I'm going over all of the best cards you can get for free or very cheap, because there's going to be tons of super good cards like that you'll want to try out. Now keep in mind also that these Team Affinity cards are captain cards, so you could build some fun theme teams using these cards, like with this Ryan O'Hearn. You could get some pretty good boost for Orioles players if you do make an Orioles theme team. So the first Team Affinity card I would recommend trying out is Brendan Donovan. On the surface, this card's attributes look very good, but then you realize he can also play any position besides catcher and center field, so that positional flexibility will make this card even better and more valuable. Plus that defensive attributes are pretty solid too, so even if you're stacked at, let's say, a couple positions he could play, you could try him out at another position of need. The contact and clutch all above 100 is very, very nice, and then his power numbers are actually pretty solid too. Does have some nice quirks. He does have unfazed, and then breaking ball hitter, bad ball hitter. So a few nice ones there too. So this is a very, very good card. Very fun card too, just with that, ability to play him like pretty much any position in the field. Now moving on to arguably the best Team Affinity card, and that is Ellie De La Cruz. For me, Ellie cards just always play super well and typically above what his attributes are. And those attributes on this card are still very, very good. So I think a lot of it is his swing is just very nice. But then I also love that switch hitting ability is another huge plus. And then also keep in mind, he does have that third base secondary. So if you don't need him at short, you could try him out at third, up to you there. But then, yeah, I mean, his hitting attributes basically all going to be of 100 plus once you do parallel him up. Very good clutch as well, 99 speed as we know with Ellie. It's really just the vision at 65, the fielding at 73, and then the accuracy right there at 62. Those few things are kind of the downside with this card, but very good regardless. And then he does have a few, dead red, bad ball hitter. He does have a few quirks on him too that will be decent. But I just think Ellie cards are always going to play above what his card is showing you. And I think this is a very, very solid card regardless. Pretty good all-around card here in Ellie De La Cruz. Always a lot of fun to use as well. And then the next card I want to go over is from the A's, Jacob Wilson. I know lots of people really liked his other diamond card he got a little earlier in the year. And he's going to be great, just great on any difficulty with that super high contact, clutch, and even vision ratings. And once paralleled up, I mean, he's pretty much going to be damn near maxed out on all of those. Once you parallel him up too, he's also going to have mid-80s power. So still pretty good considering the rest of his offensive attributes are pretty much maxed out. Also, on top of that, very, very solid defensive player as well. That speed for a shortstop, not the greatest, but that's literally probably the only thing you can nitpick with this card, because the fielding is there, as I went over, and that hitting is really nice. Definitely recommend trying out Jacob Wilson. Next is Freddy Freeman. Similar to Jacob Wilson, the clutch and the contact numbers are going to be fantastic. Better power though. He's going to have, once you parallel him up, 90 plus power both sides, pretty good vision, and then really as a first baseman, all you need is decent fielding and decent reaction. He definitely has that at, starting out at 75. Speed is a concern, I would say, but you'll probably be saying that for most first basemen at this point in the game. So it kind of just is what it is. Something you'll have to live with the pretty good first baseman options. And then as far as quirks, I do think he has a few here. Yeah, unfazed, good one. Bad ball hitter, pretty solid. So he does have some quirks as well, just making him, an impactful, even more impactful bat. But yeah, that clutch, the contact, all of it is there. Good hitter. Slow, but good in the field too for his position. Definitely recommend Freeman at first base. But then moving on to a catcher here, I would only play him, Hunter Goodman, here at catcher, just because I think at the other positions you're going to have probably better options. But he's a super well-balanced card with maxed out clutch and 74 speed for a catcher starting out at 74 is pretty damn good too. So all those hitting attributes, once paralleled up, will be 100 plus, all around. And yeah, I just like the card. Pretty good defender. Like, not sure defense for a catcher is that important, but it's at least decent. So like I said before, very well balanced card, and I like the speed for his position right there. So changing it up a little bit and going to the pitcher side of things, Zach Wheeler's a pretty good one. I really like the mix. You got the four-seam fastball along with the cutter and the sinker, and you're taking some off, 92 cutter, whereas you have like the high 90s fastball. I like that a lot. And then you have that splitter in the, up in the mid 80s along with that little bit slower sweeper. So I like the, four-seam sinker cutter combination, and then kind of the change of pace with the splitter is very nice. And then just across the board, his per nines are very good. That hits per nine, and then that pitching clutch are there. The BB9's there. He's going to be able to locate pretty damn well. And yeah, just a good all-around card. He's not the best pitcher in the entire game, but he is a solid option if you are looking for a free starting pitcher. But then moving on to a relief pitcher, Andres Munoz, maxed out hit per nine, maxed out pitching clutch. That is as good as it gets. And then you got the outlier on the four-seam fastball. So yeah, it's going to touch triple digits. And then you have the sinker in there, sitting about mid 90s, which is a nice change of pace from the fastball. And then you mix in the changeup, the slider. This is a really good free relief pitching option. How can you go wrong with maxed out hit per nine and pitching clutch? You got some pretty nice pitches along, with that outlier, making this, a good option that I would definitely recommend getting. Probably the best relief pitcher out of the Team Affinity drop. So then Alex Bregman, you can kind of play all over the infield, which is nice. So you do have options with him, a little bit of flexibility for where he can play. But then, yeah, hitting attributes are pretty solid. 77 power left is really the only knock on him there. And then he's a good defender. 52 speed is a little bit slow, but I just like this card overall. I think, that 77 power against lefty is not the end of the world when all of the other hitting attributes are there. And then he has, high vision. He's got good fielding, and, mid 50s speed is just fine. He's going to be fine there. And yeah, just a solid all-around card. Nothing spectacular. Probably near the lower end, of my, if we were calling this a top 10, he probably might be ranked 9th or 10th, but I still think a good card. Now, I know there's already a free Paul Skeens from a program, but this Paul Skeens is very, very good. So Outlier 1, Outlier 2 on that fastball, and that splitter is super nice. That fastball will be sitting 100 plus miles per hour, and then you have that mid-90s mile per hour sinker, and then you got the, like we said, the outlier on the splitter, which will be probably mid-90s, and then that, high 80s changeup is a good change of pace too. So, and along with that, you also have the sweeper, which you can mix in now and again. So this is a pretty good card. And the per nines are actually very good. And like the control, like the 88 BB9 for Paul Skeens is pretty good as well. That'll help with locating pitches, and Paul Skeens cards, that maybe is the one knack you can sometimes have against them, is sometimes he's a little bit tough to control. So pretty good card there. Another starting pitching option if you want it. And then lastly, Ryan O'Hearn here. And he has a good card from that, I think it was the Spotlight program from earlier in the year, and I really liked it. I know lots of other people liked it as well. So I think this card is going to play. So that's part of the reason why I have him in this list. Maybe a little bit of bias from that. But of all the cards I've gone over, probably the worst against lefties, but he's going to rake against righties. And that fielding, that reaction's very good. The speed, once you do parallel him up, it'll be decent. And then, yeah, I just think it's a good card. And from his previous card, I just think, if that's a sign, this card is also going to be very, very good. And then along with that, I do think he has a few quirks here. Yeah, Unfazed, good one. Dead Red, pretty good one. Yeah, so he's got some quirks, a couple good ones, and yeah, this card, I just think try him out. He's gonna hit. I just think he's going to hit, even though those those numbers against lefties maybe not totally there. But then I want to go over a few honorable mentions that just missed out, but I think are worth mentioning. Jeremy Pena, honestly, I was having a little bit of regret. Maybe I should have actually included him. 99 speed, good defense, very good, clutch, contact, power is pretty good too, vision's there. Like, this card can do everything. I don't know why. I don't know. I probably should have included him now that I have been thinking about it a little bit more. But then Eugenio Suarez is going to be a fun card to use too. I mean, pretty much maxed out power once you parallel him up. That 81 contact left really is the only, and that, I guess the vision might be fine, but is really the only downside to that card. But fun offline card for sure. He's going to absolutely mash for you in offline. A good reliever, another good reliever, just because I only mentioned one from before. Jason Adam, almost maxed out hit per 9, but he does have that maxed out clutch. I do love his 5-pitch mix right there. A little bit slower, good speed differentials on his pitches as well. I do like that card a lot. And then another first base option, I told you about Freddy before, a right-handed one, Pete Alonso. This card's going to be very good. Maxed out clutch, very good hitting attributes all around. The speed, the fielding, none of that's there, but he's there to hit the ball. And I mean, he's gonna, especially once you parallel him up, those hitting at the power, the contact left, all of that goes up. Very, very good card right here. So let me know if you guys have any other Team Affinity cards I didn't mention in this video, but you've used and you really like a lot. I'm curious to see what your guys' thoughts about this, but that's what I would recommend for some cards you would try out from the Team Affinity drop. Now again, once the All-Star break is done, I will have another video coming out talking about more of the cards that we got from this massive content week that, will be free, will be cheap, that you should give a try as well. So be on the lookout for that, but that's going to be it for the video. Appreciate all of you for watching this one. See you next time. Peace.